run this workshop, healing workshop for us, and you're welcome.
There's a few faces I do recognise from other workshops, and so it's nice to see you back. And for those who are just coming for the first time today, it's also lovely to meet you and to see you. I work with energy anatomy, and I'm a medium. I work throughout the churches. I'm the president of the Secret Spiritualist Church. So, although I work with energy anatomy, I also work with spirit, bringing through evidence of survival. My passion for many years has been why we get ill, why cancers form in one person as opposed to another person. So for many years, I've never studied this, but I studied the philosophy of energy anatomy and then used that in my life so that I could learn how that would apply and how I would work with that. As I worked with my own life, certain episodes and things started to unfold and unravel, and I've seen this picture unfold so many times in different groups and with different people that when you open up to a spiritual path, a lot of chaos seems to come in through the periphery, and your life that you know seems to unravel, right? So you may have witnessed this with people that you know, okay? Now, that was what was happening with me. And so I do everything in 5-year cycles, it seems. So let's say 15 years ago, this started to unravel in my own life personally, so I had to sort of work through all of what was going on there. I then got a very clear instruction from Spirit to start doing readings. And I was very nervous about that because I'm quite a shy type of person, and to stand at the front of the room was a huge shift for me. I just was not comfortable, but I started to do because I trusted from what I had been learning. So people would be sent to me, and I would literally start to work through their energy anatomy. So after a while of sort of doing that face-to-face with people, my confidence was starting to grow. I heard another moment which was quite profound. Go get yourself a massage table. Now it's time to really start the work. So for 5 years, I would say, give or take, I literally stood hands on. I allowed Spirit to come through, and they would do the communicating. And I would lay hands on as healing. And I was always aware that I would never do a healing. It was never me, Carol, that was ever involved in the healing aspect. Because the way they worked was so, I think, special for me, because I was so not present in the process. Okay? I was like, I just learned the knack of getting out of their way, allowing that connection through, and then it would just flow. I understand it today as trance work. At the time, I didn't have a language for it. It just happened. So, year after year, person after person, I would feel their body and start to work through the energy centers. And there would be certain events, certain illnesses, certain life experiences that these people would have had. And it was like when you throw a fishing line in and it drops into the water, and it would be like following that lead where it dropped into the water. And then that would help to determine where I would then go and where the body was perhaps feeling unwell in relationship to that area. So there was like, I call it the map, the blueprint, and I was following the chakra system all the time. The chakra system, and I stopped calling them chakras. I mean, I do, but when I work, I just stopped calling them chakras because they were memory chips. It became very computer-like to me. So it was almost like going into a Windows file, pulling that information out, opening up the file, and looking at the dynamics and what was written into that file, the text file, and then bringing that back and then addressing the person with this dynamic, but actually looking at it not from a personal level, but from a very spiritual impersonal level as to why this was happening and why they were experiencing this. And so there are certain characteristics in each energy centre that would go hand in hand with the chaos, you might say, that was ensuing in the person's life. And so by repetition, and I think you can only do this by repetition, you get to feel, and it is any form of mediumship I've learned is feeling on some respect. You get, for me it's an ear for it now. Over the last 15 years working with this, it started to change again. It never stays stagnant. It grows with you as you grow with it. So as I started to develop this, the massage table after that 5 years went away. Why? I ended up with RSI in my elbow because I was literally, they were moving my hands and I was working with the energy and I was actually working with healing. Now I can tell you that you can feel what's going on inside someone's biology if you can tune to that level. And your hands become like radars. And so they would start to move on their own and work with that. And people would actually start to say they could feel the hand like a pressure. It wasn't like my hand going in like psychic surgery, but it was like a pressure. You could feel that. I had women who had not had children, who were infertile, endometriosis, going through in vitro fertilization, having had no success with that. Over a 2-year period of working, she walked away with her baby. She's now got a beautiful little girl. But it was peeling back the layers, because if you come into somebody straight off the bat who's dealing with something like that, you're dealing with so many layers. First of all, you have to establish that you can do what you say you can do. Prove yourself always comes into it. So that was the first place. And the spirit connection with loved ones works beautifully on that level. And they bring in a very personal area of physical, tangible evidence that they walk away with and go, wow, how can that person know? How would you know that there was a nurse in my family who used to wear those fluffy arms and look this way and that? How could she couldn't know that. There has to be something to this. It gives it a bit of weight in the world, right? So that's where the mediumship on that level really cements it in. And as they work with that, you want a periphery. You want, well, how does this work in my life? And what is going to happen with this? And am I going to get that new job? So they come in with a physical kind of component to, how's my life going? Okay? And so you work with them on that level. But every time they come back, and you understand, you never ask them to come back. Right? They want to come back because they're fascinated, they're intrigued, they want to know, what is it that you're doing? Okay? They usually end up in a development class or coming to a church or starting a spiritual journey. That's the fallout from this kind of interaction with people. But this particular girl, she just kept coming back. And when I say that, I don't mean every 2 weeks. It was, well, when you're ready, and if you want to come back, you'll ring me, because you'll know. I can't tell you when to come back. And then as she would come back, the next layer would come in. So we might start with energy anatomy, which is where we're going today. And so working with her, we would literally start unpicking her. It always starts with a family history first, because that's where she's familiar with the territory. She understands that world. And so by looking at the areas of the family, and again, her loved ones would come in because they know what's going on through their family lines, and they would bring the relative information as in. Has a conflict with her sister, right? Has never felt that she's part of the family, has never felt accepted, so there's all of this kind of history that starts to come in with this. That's where and people don't realise that you're actually doing a medical intuitive reading on that level. They think that you need to look at the body and see an illness. But that's quite often not what you're going to see. And I've set it up with those upstairs. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to diagnose illnesses.